Hello again, everyone. Marcus here. I review stuff. Today, I'm reviewing the song Heart and Soul by Joy Division. As always, this song comes to you as a request from my listener, one of my listeners or viewers. So as always, if you want to make a request, just leave it in the comments. I'll be sure to add it to my list. I've heard a few songs by Joy Division at this point. Shadowplay probably being my favorite. I just really like the energy behind it, the way it's performed. But Love Will Tear Us Apart was a really good one as well. Atmosphere, man, that one hit hard. And there's one more I've heard from them. I'm blanking on the name at the moment. But yeah, so a lot of really good stuff from Joy Division that I've really enjoyed. Again, Shadowplay definitely being my favorite, I gotta say. But looking forward to listening to this one. I've really enjoyed their style so far. I think part of that I've mentioned before is that I really started getting into the Smiths thanks to this channel, and really getting used to sort of Morrissey's delivery, his particular singing style, and I felt like that really gave me a chance to get into Joy Division. I've said before that in years past, I definitely wasn't as open-minded musically, which was actually a reason I started this channel, to really expose myself to more types of music and things I've never heard before. And I'll say, as my journey through different types of music, and as I've done this channel, I've come to appreciate types of music that I probably would never actually have listened to in years past, and I feel like Joy Division is one of those. So really enjoying their stuff. Can't wait to hear more, and we're going to do so right now. So Heart and Soul, Joy Division, let's give it a shot. Okay, I like that. I feel like I would have. Well, let's see. I feel like I would have liked it more if they would have done just a little bit more to kind of alternate the sound or kind of differentiate a little bit. But I still really enjoyed it. So yeah, I thought it was really good. Let's go ahead and break it down like we always do, starting with the lyrics. So, there we go. Drummer Stephen Morris told GQ about the difficulties with performing this song live. It has a lot to do. It was a lot of fun to do, but later when we tried doing it live, it was always a bit hit and miss. It's based around Bernard playing the bass synths, and it was going into hypnotic rhythm that just doesn't stop. I remember in the studio doing it, and you go into a bit of a trance while you're just playing the beat over and over because you couldn't just sample it. I honestly couldn't play that drum riff now. It sounds really simple, but when you listen to it, it's actually impossible to play. It was probably one of the first ones where it was probably one of the first ones where Hooky is not playing a bass line. He's playing the melody, but his bass riff is really complicated. It's really hard, possibly because we would have punctuated it in. You play a riff for a bit and drop another riff in afterwards. So you build it up like that. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because it did sound really simple. But he's saying it was actually super complicated. Okay. And I guess maybe that's where I'm like, oh, they should have done more with that song. Because really, I did enjoy kind of the bass throughout, but it was very samey to me. But I liked it. I liked the bass, the way it sounded. I also really liked the drums, and there were moments where the drums really kicked up a little bit more. And again, it sounds super simple, but he's saying it's a lot more complicated, and I wonder why. I'm sure you guys maybe in the comments can tell me a little bit about what makes this song more complicated. Unfortunately, I'm not very intelligent musically like that. I really couldn't tell you what could potentially be making that song more complicated than what it, I guess, initially sounds like. So anyway, before we get on to that, let's talk about the lyrics. So, instincts that can still betray us, a journey that leads to the sun, soulless and bent on destruction, a struggle between right and wrong. You take my place in the showdown. I'll observe with a pitiful eye. I'll humbly ask for forgiveness, a request well beyond you and I. Heart and soul, one will burn. Heart and soul, one will burn. Heart and soul is going to be metaphors for Ian's wife and lover. The whole song fits with this theme too. Instincts that can still betray us. He never wanted to love both of them. He didn't choose it, a struggle between right and wrong, because he couldn't choose only one. One will burn. Okay, I'll get to that. He didn't have any idea of what was going to happen, but something would happen eventually, and so on. Okay, so obviously that's one person's interpretation, but like when I heard heart and soul, one will burn, I assumed it meant kind of like that, where either your heart or your soul, you're going to basically give up one. Now I'm not sure maybe the difference between these two in the context. Again, if it is one is his wife and one is just his lover, it could be that like one of them will have to suffer for my actions, but it could also be like just talking about himself, like doing what's fulfilling for the heart, and then doing what's fulfilling for the soul. And I can't even like elaborate on the difference between the two, but just I thought it was really interesting when I heard that line. An abyss that laughs at creation, a circus complete with all fools, foundations that lasted the ages, then ripped apart at their roots. Beyond all this good is the terror, the grip of a mercenary hand. When savagery turns all good reason, there's no turning back, no last stand. Yeah, I also, now that I kind of saw what that one commenter said about heart and soul and about his lover and his wife, I'm kind of seeing that here in verse 2 as well. About just like, this is a circus of fools. This foundation that had lasted the ages, his marriage was then ripped apart at their roots. And then when savagery turns all good reason, there's no turning back, no last stand. Wow. Heart and soul, one will burn. Heart and soul, one will burn. Existence, well, what does it matter? I exist on the best terms I can. The past is now part of my future. The present is well out of hand. The present is well out of hand. I thought that was a really cleverly written line the past is now part of my future. I went, yeah, that makes sense. But then he said the present is well out of hand. I thought that was just perfect, like, timing lyric-wise, you know. I just thought it really worked well in the song. But basically, I think he's just saying basically my past is catching up to me, and my present, I'm just fucking stuff up currently as well. So in the future's gonna be even more fucked up, I guess. But I think, you know, knowing what I know now, you know, going into listening to Joy Division, I had no idea anything about the band. But knowing what I know now, this line right here really makes a lot of sense to me. Existence, well, what does it matter? I exist on the best terms that I can. Because we know that the lead singer eventually took his own life, Ian Curtis, right? So, man, just tragic, super, super tragic. But I think a lot of what he's writing about here were those contributing factors, you know, the things going on in his life, the things that partly by his design and his doing. So, heart and soul, one will burn, heart and soul, one will burn, one will burn, one will burn, heart and soul, one will burn. All right. So, yeah, I thought it was interesting lyrically. I thought there were a lot of really creative lines, honestly, where I was like, okay, that really caught my attention lyrically. I thought the what's the word I'm looking for? The timing of it, you know, like I said, when you said like the past is becoming my future or something like that, but the present is well out of hand. I just felt like that was great lyrical timing to really deliver a line that made me go, oh, okay, what's he talking about here? So some really cool lines. I think it was interesting lyrically. I think there are many different ways you can really read this song, and I think that really helps it out. I mean, sure, there's the one way again with the lover and the wife and all that, and I can definitely see that when I read it upon it like a second time. But I feel like you could really take your own meaning out of this as well, and you can look into it at many different angles, and I'm sure many people have. So lyrically, I just thought it was super interesting, a really cool song. I give it 2 thumbs up. As far as the instrumentation goes, like I said, I feel like I would have liked if they would have mixed things up a little bit more. But now reading that little bio there, what the drummer had said about it, I think it's kind of interesting that he was talking about the complexity of the song. Because I guess with my untrained ear, I was like, this is a very simple song. You kind of have a very straightforward bass line. You have a very straightforward drum rhythm with a few changes here and there. But then he's saying, like, this is impossible for us to play live at this point. And I'm like, wow. That just seems like I would never have guessed. And then you get like that underlying guitar. I think that was, I'm assuming it was guitar. It could have definitely been like something else, like a synth or a keyboard or something. But you get like little tones here and there. They're very muted, I feel like. But they definitely add this sort of ominous feeling to the song. I feel like a lot of their music is very ominous on the surface as well as below the surface. It's like, oh, what's under there? Oh, it's more it's more ominous stuff. So yeah, I think it just instrumentally it definitely worked. I definitely loved that bass, that groove in the bass. I loved the drum work, that sort of drum rhythm, that drum pattern was, I think, very enjoyable for me. I did like when he kind of threw a little bit of different flourishes in there with the drums, and the vocal delivery I thought was very fitting, again, kind of fit that ominous nature. So I think vocally and instrumentally this was a very good song. My only complaint is that I wish they would have mixed it up a little bit, give me a little bit more to chew on, but I think it was fine still. I give it 2 thumbs up instrumentally and vocally. Then as far as replay value goes, you know, I think I'm going to put this one on the playlist. I gotta say, that bass riff is just so, I think, catchy. The moment the bass kicked in, I was like, okay, I'm digging this. This is groovy. I like it. The drumming was a little repetitive, but they knew when to throw in just some little change-ups. And I will say, even though I'm asking for more change-ups, the change-ups they threw in there, I think, were very well timed and kind of gave you something to think about. And a break from, I guess, the monotony, if you will. So I think this song is going on the playlist. I think it's pretty solid. 2 thumbs up across the board. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much for the request. As always, if you want to be that person who requests something, just leave it in the comments. I'll be sure to get to it. If you enjoyed the music as much as I did, of course, go support the artists. Go listen to their music wherever you can. One place you can find this song is going to be in my Spotify playlist. It's in the description below. Has every single song I've heard so far on my channel. And of course, if you want to support me, just all the normal stuff you do on YouTube, you know, like and subscribe and comment. Alright guys, that's going to be it. Hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now.